You are being sold a biological lie that tells you companionship is a necessity for survival, when in the modern economic environment, it is actually the primary anchor dragging you down into the abyss of mediocrity. Look at the mathematics of the startup phase, where every ounce of mitochondrial energy must be directed toward the escape velocity required to break the gravity of the social sludge. If you attach a family, a partner, or even a demanding pet to your chassis before you have reached orbit, you are increasing the fuel requirements exponentially while simultaneously decreasing your maneuverability. The capital of the loner is not just the money in the bank, it is the absolute sovereignty over the 24 hours in the day. A man with a family pays a tax on his attention that is levied every single minute. He cannot disappear into the deep work for 3 days straight because he has obligations to the acoustic rot of the domestic sphere. He cannot take the high-risk bet that could yield a 100 times return because he has mouths to feed and a stability to maintain. You, on the other hand, possess the ultimate unfair advantage, which is the ability to live on nothing and risk everything. You can sleep on a floor, eat rice and beans, and pour every single dollar of surplus into your system. This is not a tragedy, it is a tactical superiority. The system pushes the propaganda of the happy family early in life because a man with a mortgage and a wife is a man who will not revolt. He is a man who will take the safe job and keep his head down. A single man with a war chest and a vision is a dangerous variable that the global server cannot predict. You are dangerous because you have no vulnerabilities. You have no hostages that the system can use to negotiate your surrender. The financial impact of a relationship in the accumulation phase is a biological leak that drains your war chest before you can even build it. Let us look at the cold hard numbers of the mating ritual. The dates, the gifts, the vacations, the larger apartment, the car that isn't embarrassing. These are all capital expenditures that yield zero return on investment for your empire. They are consumption disguised as affection. You are taking the seed corn of your future dynasty and feeding it to the present moment for a hit of dopamine and oxytocin. That $10,000 you spent on living life with a partner could have been the seed capital for a business that generates $1 million a year. By spending it now, you are killing the forest to burn a single branch. The loner preserves the seed. He understands that his isolation is a temporary state of incubation. He is not lonely, he is charging. The silence of the empty apartment is not a void to be filled. It is a workspace to be exploited. In that silence, you can hear the signals of the market that the distracted fathers and husbands miss because they are listening to the noise of their obligations. You have the bandwidth to learn the skills, to write the code, to build the product without a single interruption. This unbroken flow state is the rarest resource in the modern world, and you have an unlimited supply of it simply by refusing to couple up before you are ready. The biological reality is that a woman wants a finished product, not a construction site. When you try to build a family while you are still building yourself, you are creating a conflict of interest between your biological imperative to provide and your strategic imperative to conquer. You will be torn between being a good boyfriend and being a great architect. You will likely fail at both. The woman will resent your obsession with work, and you will resent her demand for your time. This friction creates heat, but it does not create light. It burns your energy. It causes stress. It raises your cortisol. It kills your testosterone. The sovereign path is to become the finished product first. You build the fortress. You fill the vault. You secure the territory. Then, and only then, do you open the gate. By doing it in this order, you attract a higher quality of mate who respects the mission, because the mission is already successful. You are not asking her to struggle with you. You are inviting her to share in your victory. This changes the dynamic from codependence to dominance. You are the prize. You are the rock. But to become the rock, you must first endure the pressure of the forge alone. The concept of the supportive partner is often a myth used by weak men to justify their fear of solitude. They need a cheerleader because they do not have enough internal combustion to keep the engine running. The architect does not need a cheerleader. He needs results. If you cannot motivate yourself to work 18 hours a day without a woman patting you on the back, you are not cut out for the resource war. You are a dependent variable waiting to be solved. The solitude forces you to develop an internal monologue of steel. You become your own mentor, your own critic, and your own commander. You learn to rely on your own judgment because there is no one else to ask. This self-reliance is the psychological armor that will protect you when you reach the top. It is easy to be strong when you have a tribe. It is hard to be strong when you are alone in the dark, but the strength built in the dark is permanent. It is not contingent on the approval of others. It is yours. The loner's capital is the resilience of the man who has faced the void and did not blink. Society shames the single man because he is a glitch in the matrix of consumption. A single man does not buy a house with 3 bedrooms. He does not buy a minivan. He does not buy life insurance. He is a lean, efficient machine that consumes little and produces much. much. This makes him a bad consumer, but a great capitalist. You must embrace this role. You are a monk of the market. Your celibacy is financial, not necessarily sexual, but even the sexual discipline is a weapon. The energy you do not dissipate in the pursuit of validation is energy you direct into the pursuit of resources. The transmutation of sexual energy into creative aggression is the secret of the great conquerors. They did not waste their fire on warmth, they used it to burn down obstacles. You have the same fire. Do not squander it on a domestic simulation that yields nothing but bills and compromise. Compromise is the death of the vision. When you are alone, you do not compromise. You eat what you want. You work when you want. You sleep when you want. You move where you want. This absolute agility allows you to seize opportunities that the family man has to let pass. If a deal opens up in Singapore tomorrow, you can be on the plane tonight. The family man has to ask for permission. He has to arrange childcare. He has to worry about school zones. He is anchored. You are a missile. The emotional bandwidth required to manage a relationship is bandwidth that is stolen from your problem-solving capacity. Every argument is a glitch in your operating system. Every hour spent processing feelings is an hour not spent processing data. The complexity of the global server requires your full cognitive load. You cannot multitask the conquest of the world with the management of a household. One will suffer, and it is usually the conquest. The biological clock is a pressure tactic used to force you into a bad deal. As a man, your biological clock is synced to your resource acquisition, not your age. You become more valuable as you get older, provided you are getting richer and stronger. There is no rush. The rush is a fabrication of the social sludge to get you to sign a contract before you have read the fine print. Take your time, build your stack. The family you build at 40 with $10 million in the bank will be infinitely more stable and happy than the family you build at 25 with a mountain of debt and a heart full of regret. The loner's capital also includes the freedom to fail. When you are alone, you can go to zero and sleep on a park bench, and the only person who suffers is you. This removes the fear of failure. You can take the asymmetric bets that have a high chance of failure but an infinite upside. You can swing for the fences. The family man cannot do this. He has to play it safe. He has to protect the nest. This risk aversion is the ceiling on his wealth. He will never be a billionaire because he cannot afford to be broke. You can afford to be broke. You can afford to restart. This makes you fearless. And the fearless man is the one who ends up with the gold. You are playing a video game with infinite lives while they are playing on hardcore mode with one life. You can iterate. You can pivot. You can crash and burn and rise from the ashes. This elasticity is your greatest asset. Do not trade it for a hug. The isolation is the filter. It filters out the weak friends who only want to party. It filters out the gold diggers who only want the finished product. It filters out your own weakness. If you can survive the silence, you can survive anything. You use this time to build the mental models that will serve you for the rest of your life. You read the books. You write the plans. You visualize the victory. You are in the training camp of the soul. Do not look at the happy couples on Instagram and feel envy. Look at them and see the chains. See the exhaustion in their eyes. See the compromise in their smiles. They have traded their potential for comfort. You are trading your comfort for potential. It is a trade that pays off in the long run. The compound interest on your solitude is massive. Every year you stay free is a year you double your capacity. Keep doubling. Keep building. Keep the gate locked. The narrative of the lonely male is a psyop. You are not lonely, you are solitary. There is a difference. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. Solitude is the glory of being alone. Solitude is where the gods live. It is where the ideas come from. It is where the self is constructed. You are an architect and you cannot design a skyscraper in the middle of a crowded room. You need the quiet of the studio. Your life is the studio. Protect the door. Do not let the noise in. The noise is the enemy. The silence is the friend. Embrace the silence. Use it to sharpen your blade. Use it to count your money. Use it to plot your takeover. The world will try to drag you into the mud of relationship drama. Stay on the high ground. Stay in the clouds. Stay sovereign. The final realization of the first phase is that you are enough. You do not need another half to make you whole. You are a complete unit of tactical execution. You are a biological weapon designed for resource capture. The addition of another person is a variable that introduces chaos. You are minimizing chaos to maximize order. Order produces wealth. Chaos produces drama. Choose wealth. Choose order. Choose the path of the lone wolf who hunts on the edge of the forest. The forest is full of sheep. You are not a sheep. You do not need a flock. you need a kill. Tactical execution of the loaner capital begins with the total weaponization of your schedule, where the absence of domestic friction allows you to implement a work rhythm that would kill a domesticated man. You are not just free, you are unburdened, and this lack of burden must be translated into a kinetic output that defies the laws of the standard 40-hour work week. The sovereign architect operating in solitude does not work 9 to 5. He works from eyes open to eyes shut because there is no one waiting for him at the dinner table and no one demanding his presence on the couch. This is the God mode of productivity, where you can enter a flow state on Monday morning and not emerge until Wednesday night. You can sprint for weeks at a time without the biological leak of guilt that plagues the family man who feels he is neglecting his duties. Your only duty is to the mission. You must structure your day with the rigidity of a monastic order. You wake up and you work. You eat and you work. You train and you work. You sleep and you repeat. There is no downtime, because downtime is for those who have already won. The void of the empty apartment is your gym and your library and your factory. You fill it with the noise of your keyboard and the silence of your concentration. The tactical advantage here is speed. You can iterate on a product 10 times in the time it takes the competition to iterate once, because they are negotiating with their spouse about who takes out the trash while you are shipping code. You must ruthlessly exploit this asymmetry. You are a guerrilla fighter against a standing army. They have more resources, but you have more speed. You use that speed to outmaneuver them, to flank them, and to capture the hill before they have even put on their boots. The financial protocol of the solitary sovereign is the monk mode budget. Since you have no one to impress and no one to provide for, you can slash your burn rate to the absolute biological minimum. You do not need a 3-bedroom house. You need a mattress and a Wi-Fi connection. You do not need a leased BMW. You need legs or a bicycle. You do not need restaurant meals. You need protein and vegetables prepared in bulk. Every dollar you do not spend on lifestyle is a dollar you deploy into the acquisition of assets. You can reinvest 90% of your income back into your business or your portfolio. This compound effect is the nuclear weapon of the loner. While your peers are spending their surplus on dating and decorating, you are stacking capital that earns yield. By the time they realize their mistake, you will have a war chest that makes you untouchable. You must view every luxury as a weakness. Comfort is the enemy of the hungry wolf. You stay hungry by keeping your environment lean. You live below your means not out of poverty, but out of strategy. You are diverting resources from the present consumption to the future domination. This requires a psychological hardening, where you look at the glittering prizes of the consumer world and reject them as traps. You do not want the shiny object, you want the factory that makes the shiny object. You do not want the status symbol, you want the power that makes status irrelevant. Risk tolerance is the third pillar of the tactical execution. Because you are a single node in the network, you can absorb shocks that would destroy a cluster. You can take the suicide mission bets, where the probability of success is low, but the payoff is infinite. You can quit your job to start a company without fearing that your children will starve. You can move to a dangerous market where the competition is low. You can invest your last dollar in a trade that you believe in. This is the nothing to lose advantage. When you have nothing to lose, you are the most dangerous player at the table. The family man plays to protect his stack. You play to multiply your stack. You can be aggressive. You can be volatile. You can be unreasonable. The market rewards the unreasonable man. The system is designed to crush the cautious. You use your solitude to detach from the fear of ruin. If you ruin yourself, you simply dust yourself off and start again. There is no audience to witness your failure and no dependents to suffer from it. This liberation from the fear of consequences allows you to act with a boldness that paralyzes the herd. You are the kamikaze of capitalism, diving into the aircraft carrier of the establishment with a smile on your face, because you know that even if you crash, you die free. The geographic mobility of the loner must be exploited to the maximum. You are not a tree, you are the wind. If the taxes in your city get too high, you leave. If the regulations in your country get too tight, you leave. If the market shifts to a new hub, you move there. You follow the money and you follow the freedom. You keep your possessions light so that you can fit your entire life into 2 bags. This ability to relocate instantly is a massive arbitrage opportunity. You can earn in a strong currency and live in a weak one. You can arbitrage the cost of living against the value of your output. The family man is geo-locked. He is a prisoner of the school district. You are a citizen of the cloud. You use this mobility to escape the local tyrannies and to access the global opportunities. You are a ghost that appears where the resources are and vanishes before the parasites can attach themselves to you. This is the strategy of the nomad king. You graze your herds on the richest grass and move on before the winter comes. The static man freezes. The mobile man thrives. You must cultivate a detachment from places just as you cultivate a detachment from things. Your home is where your laptop is open and your mission is active. Social engineering in the tactical phase involves the precise curation of your input. Since you are not forced to interact with in-laws or the parents of your children's friends, you have total control over who enters your neural mesh. You cut the social sludge with a scalpel. You only interact with other predators, other builders, and other sovereigns. You build a mastermind of killers. You do not waste your breath on small talk. You do not go to parties to socialize. You go to hunt for alliances. If a social interaction does not make you richer, smarter, or stronger, you decline it. This is not antisocial. It is pro-mission. You are protecting your energy from the vampires of mediocrity. You are building a tribe of choice, not a tribe of circumstance. When you do speak, you speak the language of the architect. You talk about ideas. You talk about systems. You talk about the future. You do not talk about people because small minds talk about people. Your solitude gives you the space to develop a unique frequency, and that frequency attracts the rare few who are on the same wavelength. You find your brothers in the trenches of the war, not in the comfort of the bar. The biological optimization of the loner is the maintenance of the machine. You have the time to cook your own food, to sleep 8 hours, to train every day. You have no excuse for being fat or weak. A fat loner is a failure of discipline. A fit loner is a dangerous weapon. You use your solitude to sculpt your body into armor. The physical discipline reinforces the mental discipline. When you look in the mirror and see a savage, you act like a savage in the marketplace. You are not letting yourself go because you got comfortable in a relationship. You are staying sharp because you are always on the market, not for a mate, but for a victory. Your body is your primary asset. It is the vehicle that carries your consciousness through the battle. You maintain it with the reverence of a Formula One mechanic. You optimize your hormones. You optimize your gut health. You optimize your brain chemistry. You are biohacking your way to supremacy because you have the time and the focus to do it. The family man is eating leftovers and skipping the gym because he is tired. You are never tired. You are a machine that runs on the pure fuel of ambition. The final stage of the tactical execution is the transition strategy. You do not remain a loner forever. The goal is to build the empire so that you can eventually populate it. But you do not bring the population in until the walls are high and the granaries are full. You are the patriarch in waiting. You are undergoing the trial of the desert so that you can enter the promised land as a conqueror. When you have secured the resources, when you have established the territory, when you have solidified the sovereignty, then you can choose to share it. But you share it on your terms. You pick a partner who complements the mission, not one who compromises it. You raise children who are heirs to a kingdom, not slaves to a mortgage. The capital of the loner is the price you pay for the dynasty of the future. It is a season of winter that ensures a spring of abundance. You embrace the cold. You embrace the silence. You work in the dark so that one day you can live in the light. The tactical sovereign knows that the sacrifice is temporary, but the glory is forever. You are building a legacy that will outlast your solitude. But for now, the solitude is your sword. Wield it. Do not let the softness of the world infect your resolve. They will tell you that you are missing out. They will tell you that you are unhappy. They are projecting their own misery onto you. They are terrified of the silence because in the silence they hear their own regrets. You hear the symphony of your potential. You are not missing out on anything except the slow decay of the ordinary life. You are capturing the extraordinary. You are capturing the fire of the gods. Keep climbing the mountain. The air is thin, but the view is clear. You are the only one on the path, and that is exactly how it should be. The summit has room for one king. Be that king.